Welcome to Confessions of Being Fabulous, where we live, we learn, we grow. Today, as promised, I told you I would have a few guests throughout this challenge, and we have an amazing guest with us today. I'm going to read something to you, but in a second, first, let me introduce him. His name is Matt Ross. He's the founder and CEO of One River School of Art and Design. My son attends that school. He takes a cartooning class because he loves to draw. So I'm excited. Which aims to transform art education in America. He previously served as an investor and founding CEO for music education program School of Rock. I'll put this down now. And I'm sure you guys are all familiar with School of Rock. Hello, Mr. Ross. How
Hey
are you
there.
today?
Thanks for having me here today.
Thank you for being here. So we're here because that's right, I put it down too soon. We're here because I'm like, wait a minute, no, I want to read the email. No, really, guys. So my son attends this school. He's the founder of the school. There are, I believe, 12 locations,
we
17,
actually have we have 15 in 6 states.
15 locations in 6 states. So it's absolutely amazing. One River School of Art and Design. Google it, look it up. I'm not sure if it's in your market necessarily, but if you have a child, or really anyone, my child goes, but it's for all age groups, right?
All ages, adults, from pre-K to adults.
Yeah, from pre-K to adult. So my son is 8. He's always drawing. Like I'm talking, I can wake up some mornings and he's at his desk already, just plucking away. So I'm like, I gotta get him into something that can teach him technique and just kind of foster the love for it all. So anyway, look into the program. But we're here obviously for 31 days of gratitude. Today is day 19. And because my son attends the school, I get emails from different representatives of the school. Now, you may sometimes receive an email and you're like, oh, but I'll never meet this person. But it was a great email. But this email touched me so much that I reached out, I replied. I'm like, let me see if I get a response. And I actually got a response, and here we are. So the email was about an image. If you clicked on it, you'll notice that there is an image of a tree, and it's called the Tree of Gratitude. And you'll notice that the bottom of the tree has different words which likely resonate with all of us. And then the branches similarly have words. And so looking at that image, and then when I read the email, which I'm going to read to you all now, this is the reason we are here today. I felt led to reach out. His message was so on point and in alignment with exactly what we're doing here and exactly what, the challenge is supposed to be about. So look at the image. Hopefully you guys are able to see it when you clicked on it because I made it there, put it there for a reason. And so the email says, as we move through the holiday season towards the end of the year, I wanted to share an artwork / graphic that I stumbled on a few years ago that has resonated with me. It's called the Gratitude Tree. And if you take a minute and really stare at this image, you might also connect with it. If you're like me and focused on your personal growth and actively managing your mental state, you probably stumble on the topic of gratitude quite often. At 63 years old, I have a lot more gratitude than ever before, and it probably has a lot to do with the life learnings that I've attained and appreciation for the struggles that I've overcome. But it also has a lot to do with the fact that I water this tree frequently. If you don't consciously focus on the things that you truly appreciate and have gratitude for um, you are depriving yourself in your brain something truly vital. To this point, I find myself deflecting the noise in the world better than ever, and this allows me to look within and focus on appreciating the journey that got me to where I am. I can make a really long list of the things I'm grateful for, but the purpose of today's Monday Thoughts, because it was a Monday, is to simply share the gratitude tree with you in hopes that it triggers an emotion that makes you think a little bit more about what you also appreciate in your life. Now, guys, if you have been on here for at least one day, you know this is exactly what we have been talking about here at 31 Days of Gratitude. So I literally started this challenge, quick background, and then I want to let Mr. Voss speak because I felt like during the holidays, it's difficult for people to take this advice and feel grateful, to express gratitude. And it may be that they have things to be grateful for, but they just can't get past the crappy year that they had, the job that they lost, the loved one that passed away, pick a circumstance. And so I'm like, I want to do something where I can kind of offer, because I'm never forcing any of this information on people, but I'm offering a different perspective. And we've done that up to now. This is day 19. Day one, we had people that we were grateful for. Day two, I said, hey, if you're over people, there's something you can be grateful for. Days three, four, and maybe five, I talked about what I call gratitude blockers. And I reminded people that, hey, sometimes if you haven't forgiven someone, that could be a gratitude blocker. So we went over different things. Day seven, we were at a holiday party. We set up the gratitude corner. What else did we do? We had a few days in a row where we talked about gratitude tools. And I talked about certain things that I do just to kind of get in the spirit, because I'm not a superhuman. I'm a regular human, so I'm not always like. And we also spoke with Mr. Kevin Grimes, senior entrepreneur, real estate professional, and I felt like he, like you, Mr. Ross, just had a way of like expressing gratitude in his own life, regardless of circumstance. So he came on, and so now here we are with you. But literally, the message is all about tapping into gratitude as a lifestyle. So I'm going to stop talking now, but can you share a bit with us about how do you, despite what's going on, how do you feel like you're able to express gratitude like on an ongoing basis as a lifestyle, like it's become a part of who you are at
It's a
this
great question. First of all, I'm grateful for you responding to my email from
point?
One River School and inviting me to do this. And I respond to everybody who reaches out. That visual graphic of the gratitude tree struck me at a moment in time. I think maybe during COVID, I saw it, and it's on my Facebook page as my wall on my Facebook page, and it's been there. And as I was approaching the end of this year, I was reflecting on what a great graphic it is and how simple it is. And so I thought I would write my Monday thoughts, which is a weekly blog about gratitude that
Yeah.
week, right? Last week. And I frankly will tell you, at 63 years old, I've never been more grateful. And I think it's been a learned skill.
Mhm.
I think I have a little bit of natural positivity, but when you're in the grind, it's hard to always feel grateful.
Yes.
The struggle is the struggle and the grind is the grind. And then we all, at some moment in time, hopefully have some sense of awareness and perspective that, you know what, this is this one life we've got to live, and we better appreciate what we've got going on right now. So I
Absolutely.
have been on a journey of self discovery my whole life. I come from challenging upbringing. I've grinded through. I've been blessed with perseverance. And now, as I'm a little bit older guy, I think I'm in a position to give back and share and help. So the company that I operate at One River School, we teach people how to paint and draw and make digital art, and we teach people of all ages. And I'm so grateful that I could be in a position to help people learn and grow. And that's one part of my gratitude. But another part of what motivates me is I'm actually writing a book, and I started writing a book right before COVID, and it's called, the working title is Grow or Fold, and it's basically like you've got to figure out how to put yourself in the best possible place to
Mhm.
continue to learn and grow and appreciate, you know, that you're doing all the right things, or that tree may fold and decline.
Mhm.
And so I think the metaphor for me is the more that I could appreciate about where I am in the work and the journey, the more I could help others. And
Mm.
I've come to determine that I get a lot of gratitude out of helping others. And I didn't know that when I was younger. I was always a positive guy. I was always somebody who liked to coach and mentor talent.
Mhm.
I was always somebody who liked to problem solve, but I never really realized that it was also part of my purpose. And
Mm.
now I'm much more clear about it, that at this stage of my life, my mission is more clear to help others be positive and to grow and to learn. So I'm grateful that I have more clarity, and I think that you know hopefully, as people continue to think about where they want to get to and where they are, they can really tap into, the essence of who they are and what they want out of life, and then appreciate who you are. Because I can't be you and you can't be me. And I may not have that crazy Ferrari and the beach house in the Hamptons and this and that. And none of that stuff really matters. What matters is how you feel in your head about yourself and your life and how you help others.
Absolutely. Well put. One of my questions, and again, going back to the foundation for starting this challenge is, so what about the people who they would like to get there? They want to get to the place that you just described, but they really are just kind of stuck in the weeds of, like I said, what may have been a crappy year from their perspective. They're so fixated on the loss, the things that didn't work out. How do you pull yourself out of that? Is it possible to pull yourself out of that? We had a day where we talked about therapy. Has that been a tool for you? But what would be your advice for that person who they kind of want to get there, but they just don't know where to
That's
start?
it's a really great question. They call coaches coaches for a reason, and therapists for a reason,
Hmm.
and friends are friends for a reason. This network of people who can help you get out of your own head, share your thoughts. The first thing I think about is, what are you doing to better understand how to solve your problem yourself? Like
Hmm.
for me, for better or worse, you know, I've read 75 to 100 self-help books in my life.
Hmm.
I mean, literally to the
Yeah.
point where my wife would make fun of me. And I've always viewed myself as a work in progress because there
Yeah.
were always things I was unhappy about with myself without being self-critical, meaning I just didn't feel like I had the full toolkit to do everything right or to be patient or to not be anxious or to not be too intense or to, all whatever my things were. So it was hard for me to get out of my head. I
Mm.
had to do the work and I had to seek resources and counsel. And
Mhm.
whatever those resources and counsel were, the first step is knowing that it's okay and it's really smart to seek out good material, tools, resources to learn.
Mhm.
And that is the first place because if you can be self aware enough to go, I think these are things that I need to improve,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to do it or what to do, or I think I might. How do you validate that or invalidate that? You need external resources, support. So I think
Mhm.
that's really the first thing to really understand where you are, where you want to get to, and what's the gap between where you are and where you want to get to, whether
Mhm.
it's personal or professional or you don't understand your purpose.
Mhm.
Aligning those three things is really what matters. And it's hard to really be grateful when you're in the grind. It
Yeah.
really is hard.
Yeah.
In my 20s, you couldn't talk to me about gratitude. Forget it. I had no time to waste. In
Yeah.
my 30s, I had no time to waste.
Mhm.
And I think in my 40s, as life got complex for a different reason, I had some personal struggles and some familial struggles. And I started to think differently like, hmm, I better start to be a little bit more open and
Mhm.
aware and not act like puff out my chest like I know it all.
Right.
That was a big part of it, the self-discovery piece and knowing that I needed to really kind of tinker with other ways of of managing myself.
Yeah.
Does that
Absolutely.
make I don't know if that all makes sense, but that's been
It
sort of my
makes
my
it makes
recipe.
perfect sense. No, it makes perfect sense because I think that, so one comment that I made the other day was, if you find that you are, it's one thing for somebody like me to start a YouTube channel. I come on, I'm giving all this advice, and it's really based on personal experience. I'm not a therapist, I'm not in that industry. So I realized I needed to disclose that because that came up a few times in the comments, like, oh, are you a therapist? Are you a coach? I'm none of those things. I'm just a person who has experienced different things down through the years. Entrepreneurial in my 20s. I'm an attorney by trade, so I practice business, intellectual property, corporate commercial law, and that's my lane. But in my quest to kind of like make a name for myself, if you will, in the concrete jungle known as New York City, I went through a lot, as you, I'm sure, are able to
I grew up
know
in
all the
Queens. I grew up in Queens, so I get it.
you know all the stories. So for me, it was really that I was like felt like I was just bumping heads with life all the time. But I didn't want to walk around all the time feeling like I'm bumping heads with life. Like I wanted to feel positive more often than not. So I came up with just methods, and they weren't all from me. Some, like you, I'm into self help books, watched other YouTubers. So I'm that type of person. Like I can look at a video, and literally by the end of the video, I might actually feel hopeful. I might actually feel okay, but everybody's not like that. So one of the things I said the other day was if you find that over a prolonged period of time, like we're talking days and maybe even weeks or months, you have this kind of like repetitive feeling of negativity, in my opinion, that might be an indicator that you do want to seek out professional help, because sometimes you have to go beyond yourself and what you are, able to kind of deal with and come up with your own tools on the drop of the hat, and you have to go to someone else who could say, you know what, try this tool, or hey, talk to me an hour a week for the next 6 months or whatever, so that makes perfect sense, and I agree that it's important to know where you are, for starters, to understand what your next step should be.
Yeah,
um,
part of the challenge too is each one of our journeys are different, right? For me, you ever hear people say, "Hey, man, you gotta love every step of the way. It's not about where you're going; it's enjoying the road to get there."
mhm.
Well, never was that way for me. It was always about the achievement and the goal.
Yeah, yeah,
And I got to get up that mountain, and I'm going to do everything grind that I can to get there. So like, but I had to learn that.
had
I
to.
I couldn't just manufacture that other feeling until after one day I kind of said, you know what? I feel like I appreciate how what went into getting to where I am now.
Absolutely.
So I think part of gratitude also is a natural process,
Hmm.
and it's hard to just force it. This painting behind me, I kind of set myself here for a reason. As you know, obviously I have this art school and I support artists, emerging artists. I'm a patron in the arts. And this painting is by a woman named Catherine Bradford who painted this during COVID.
Mm.
And it's called Cosmic Lunch. And what it is basically people at home having lunch and doing that home sort of schooling exercise that occurred during COVID. And in some ways it's profound because this looks like maybe it's like kind of this joyful experience, these people having this lunch in an interplanetary environment. It's like so different and weird, and yet like I remember, like, now I could look at it and not feel anxious about it because everything about COVID, there was nothing to feel grateful about, right? So times change too, and but like I think having things to that allow you to reflect on the work you've done,
Mhm.
the accomplishments and learnings that you've acquired, enable you to appreciate where you are more for whatever it's worth. And there's a book called the Body Keeps the Score, and it deals with people who've been through post traumatic stress or trauma.
Mm.
And those folks who have the best outcome are those who really kind of reflect on what they went through and what they learned when they were going through it.
Yeah,
And we all go through stuff.
all of us.
So you can't always feel grateful in the moment all the time. That would be fictitious. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be real. But understanding that we're a byproduct of all these sort of experiences that happen in our lifetime.
Hmm.
And then I think trying to really get comfortable with who you are
Hmm.
and really not trying to be something else and owning it. So I'm grateful at this stage of my life. I know who I am, and I have a really strong sense of gratitude. And I find myself talking about it more. And I think the fact that I talk about it more allows it to remain top of mind for me.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's on my Facebook page. And every time I log on to Facebook, I see it. And, these things that are the roots of gratitude, life, love, hope, health, courage, freedom, adventure, be thankful,
Love that.
serenity. Those are the building blocks, right?
Yeah.
So I strive for those. I have it in front of me so I could see it as we were talking.
I love that. I love that. And it's funny because this channel, so this challenge, 31 days of gratitude, every, day in the month of December, we're doing this. Or to be just me. But the channel overall, Confessions of Being Fabulous, is all about what I like to call the journey of becoming. Because I often felt like on the outside looking in, people would assume that my life was just fabulous. Oh, you live in New York City. You're an attorney. You sing. I also sing. You sing. Like just all of these things that might appear to be glamorous, but they have no clue. They have no clue the behind the scenes stories that were happening. Like, and I just always felt like it was a sick joke because often I did not feel fabulous. I just didn't. I remember one day I had a new client, and I like really, really needed this client's money. I was so broke that I'm like, listen, if you can meet me at my office, I will meet you there in however many minutes. And I didn't even have, true story, I didn't even have money to catch the train. So I literally walked from, at the time I lived on 105th in Columbus. I walked from 105th to Columbus to 50, 56 and 6. I walked there to meet this client so I could get this check, put it in the bank. I did not feel fabulous.
And that was before you could check your iPhone and see how many steps you walked that day. Now we just walk so we can tell our friends, look how many steps I got.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But this whole channel is about the journey of becoming. So it's all about personal growth. And so to your point, in that season, that was in my 20s. That was like the tail end of my 20s. I'm 42. So I'm just getting in that 40s phase where I'm starting to realize, like, you know what? There's more to life than just accomplishment and achievement and, going after the bag, as they say, like there's more. And I want to be grateful. I have a son now. I want him to be grateful because he's seen his parents be grateful, for everyday things, all parts of the journey. And it doesn't mean that he's going to immediately follow in those footsteps when he has a rocky day in his 20s. But my hope is that he'll be able to look back to who mom was, who she had become, who the majority of the time I was being, and he'll know gratitude is kind of like a foundation, is a plus for his life. It's a good thing. It will work out favorably for you versus the opposite, when you just don't experience those great feelings. So we are way past. I know I promised you 15 minutes. We're at 23, so I'm not going to hold you hostage. Let me see if there are a few comments. Not many. All right, no. So thank you so much for being here. This is day 19, guys. If you tuned in for the first time, welcome. If you tuned in before for even 5 minutes, 5 seconds, thank you. I appreciate it. Come back because we still have more days. Today's day 19. We're going all the way through the end of December. And we're just talking about gratitude. Some days, most days with me alone, a few more days where we'll have guests and their perspective on gratitude, but come back. And the whole point of this challenge, I hope when it's all said and done, someone has been helped. This is about me trying to convince you, because I can't make you do anything you don't want to do, but trying to, help you see that gratitude as a lifestyle is a really, really good thing for you, for your health, for your mind, maybe for your blood pressure, for all, for all of those things. So thank you, Mr. Ross, for being here. Very, very excited to have my son
My
here.
pleasure.
Absolutely loves it. He actually has a class on Saturday. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. I wish you lots of fun, laughter, abundance in your life. Peace, guys.